Welcome to Lesson 3. In this lesson, we will look at a real-world example of access token impersonation and theft by seeing how FIN8 performs this sub-technique in their bad hatch malware. The goal of this lesson is to perform a deep dive on a real-world example of token impersonation and theft based on CTI reporting on FIN8. Using available CTI, we will understand the context surrounding the example and find as much technical detail as we can for the behavior. We'll start by looking at the attack page for the token impersonation and theft sub-technique, scrolling down to the section for procedure examples. At the top left of the slide is a screenshot for the summary for FIN8's token impersonation and theft procedure. We see that FIN8 used a malicious framework to impersonate the token from an LSAS or VMTools-D process. We can also check the attack page for the FIN8 group. The screenshot on the bottom left shows the same procedure summary along with basic information on the threat group itself. We see that FIN8 is financially motivated, uses spear phishing as an attack vector, and targets various industries like retail, restaurants, and hospitality. Since the procedure summary doesn't go into much detail, we'll want to look at the CTI references to perform a deeper analysis. At the bottom of the attack page for token impersonation and theft, we can find a link to the CTI article that the FIN8 procedure example references. The cited CTI articles will often provide more context and information, both of which are necessary when emulating adversary behavior. We want as much information as possible so we can perform a more accurate emulation. The article referenced from the attack page is a Bitdefender article on FIN8's bad hatch malware. Note that in the first paragraph, the article provides a link to a previous report that Bitdefender wrote regarding FIN8 and bad hatch. We'll save this second report for later in case we need to refer to it for more details. For now, we can dig into the first article to obtain background information on the threat group itself, the bad hatch malware, and any additional information on the associated malware campaign. We'll only mention the relevant portions in this lesson, but you can always look at the entire article for additional information. Oftentimes, we want to know how the component we're emulating fits into the overall campaign or story. This helps us answer questions like, why did the actor perform this technique? Or, how does it help them achieve their objectives? The Bitdefender article provides a helpful diagram on the FIN8 campaign that used the bad hatch malware. Based on the diagram and associated information, we learned that the threat group likely performed initial access via social engineering and spear phishing, allowing them to obtain compromised accounts. FIN8 then moved on to enumerate the environment, looking for domain controllers for lateral movement. To achieve lateral movement, FIN8 used a combination of WMI and PowerShell, with IAM-Packet's WMI-exec Python script as a backup. Afterwards, WMI is used again for persistence, this time via WMI event subscription on various servers. While the diagram itself didn't specifically mention access token manipulation, the finer details within the article do provide additional information. We see that the access token manipulation is part of the lateral movement step, where FIN8 uses WMI to execute a PowerShell script on the remote target. Note that the PowerShell script is downloaded and invoked directly using the invoke expression commandlet, or IEX for short. While the article does not provide the actual script contents, it provides information from previous campaigns that performed similar behavior. Based on that information, the sys instruction tells the script to impersonate the access token for LSAS or VMTools-D and apply it to a service host process. This allows FIN8 to escalate privileges to system, since the system account is typically running the LSAS or VMTools-D processes. Since the token manipulation is part of the lateral movement step, this means that when the threat group laterally moves to the next target, it's able to kick off with system privileges on the new host before proceeding to the persistence phase. We can also look at the article that the first article mentioned, the previous white paper on bad hatch, in case we find additional information on how bad hatch uses access token manipulation. Here we see a similar PowerShell command with the same sys variable. Farther down the article, we see additional information on the bad hatch malware, including a confirmation of what the sys command does in the malicious framework. The malware will perform token impersonation and theft on the system token from LSAS or VMTools-D, and then create a new service host process. However, it doesn't provide additional information, such as what API calls were used. The article also provides information on previous bad hatch versions and how they perform token impersonation and theft. We see a clear trend of bad hatch stealing a system token from LSAS. Here we do get some API call information. Create process as user is used to create the service host process. We have reached the end of Lesson 3. In this lesson, we looked at how FIN8's bad hatch malware performed access token impersonation and theft. We saw that it used PowerShell to steal a system token from LSAS or VMTools-D and use it to create a new malicious process. We looked at various CTI articles to better understand the FIN8 campaign surrounding the behavior and to see how the access token manipulation fits in. Using this background material, we can start thinking about how we would emulate the access token manipulation portion of the FIN8 campaign in the next lesson. For more information, please see the following references.